Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a poetic night of deep soul. We are joined by a spoken word group that spits the truth on relationships, social issues, and many more. Each individual is unique in their own right, and as a group, they've impacted many from Miami to Nashville to Chicago and further than that. Tonight, I welcome on my show to write the block for the MTSU Writer's Block. All right, everybody, I want to welcome to my show, Writer's Block. Oh
we
my
write
gosh.
the block.
Y'all are, first of all, hilarious. I gotta give that out right there. I wanna go to everybody and talk about their background and how did y'all come together to form this group and the different aspects of it. So whoever wants to speak first. Twigs, newly made, what's going on?
Yeah. All right, so I actually started in theater. I have a background in theater, on stage, plays of that nature. But I got into writing when I was in college at Tennessee State University, and there was kind of a void or a lack of space to perform. So I had all these new pieces or things in my head or in my heart that I just had to express, but I didn't really have a place to do it. So yeah, I went out and saw what was needed to make that happen.
Okay, and so now you're the founder.
Yes.
And you've the group has flourished from more than just poetry to even some singers coming out of it as well, correct?
Yeah.
Collabing, yeah.
But Rose is singer.
Yeah, we have like a collective, so we don't try to just limit it to just spoken word, because everyone has different gifts, different types of art, but we like to practice whatever it is that we're gifted with. So we welcome all kind of artistry. We love collabing, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so Twigs or Karima, how did y'all come into Writer's Block?
I guess since we're going in order, I started writing poetry like in the 10th grade, and then I decided one day I wanted to be taken serious as an artist, and so I didn't think there was poetry in Nashville, so I was ready to move so that I could, do poetry. Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, Atlanta's good, all right.
I think I'll do.
Awesome, all right, but just stay
I wanted
here.
to go to Atlanta, but her best friend, my little brother, invited me to an open mic, and I went, and they were hosting it. And I was like number 18 on the list, and like I just wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And we have this cool little saying, like, my name's Karima, I'm from Writer's Block.
We write the block. Now
Now by collapse.
And all night, I really wanted to say that. So when I finally got on the stage, they let me say that, and that made me feel so cool. And then I just like went into it. And so when I got off the stage, I was basically summoned. They were like, "We want to talk to you in the back." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, "This is where we meet." And then on stage, I'm like, "Rawr!" But when I'm right here, I'm like.
All right, and what about you, Twigs? How did you come to the
Okay,
group?
what happened was, my boyfriend at the time, he just broke my little heart, right? He was just like, I'm gonna go off to the military and leave you like forever. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, you know what? I'm about to just like follow God across campus and see what I'm supposed to do with my life. So I just followed God to the library. And it's like 3 old wise men in there. Somebody was like,
This is the middle of the night, and there was like a star that was just guiding you as well.
If that makes my story more
This sounds so
dramatic.
familiar. It sounds so familiar. I feel like I was there.
Jesus, okay. But he was like, one of them stopped me. It really was 3 old wise men. But no, one of them stopped me, and it was like, do you dance? And I was like, no, I do poetry. It was kind of awkward. So he was like, well, I'm going to hook you up with some people. I was like, okay, cool. So I emailed, and I thought I was going to Southern Word, which is a nice little, well, not little, but they're pretty like big in Nashville. They have like a system. So, and then we have Writer's Block, and I didn't know anything about Writer's Block. I didn't even know we had poetry on campus. So I'm like emailing somebody from Writer's Block. I go to the meeting, and he's just like, come to the slam. So then I'm so adamant about performing because he told me I could perform. So I'm like, I'm gonna perform. So then what happened was, again, I started going to the stage, and he basically, it was somebody else going to the stage at the same time. He was like, nah. So I didn't get on stage.
Oh my gosh.
But then what happened, I got on stage, and I got like a 27 out of 30, and it was like, you're in. And I was like, cool.
It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's cool.
I got what I
mean,
got.
whatever. Yeah, I got it.
I did what I
That's
wanted.
pretty cool. All right, and so all of y'all are college students at TSU. This all happens at TSU, but y'all been able to take this on the road and gone further than TSU, further than Nashville. Y'all taking it to, well, Miami was, like I said, leisurely. That was for fun, but you was able to perform. You say perform wherever you go, correct?
Yeah.
We tried to.
What place has impacted you the most, or what place impacted you the most?
I'll start. Okay. Memphis for me, because I felt like, poetry royalty. We had like, police escorts. We went to like a whole bunch of like different schools, and it was just like loving us. And I think, like one of them was like, "Can I have your autograph?" I don't know if I made that in my head or not, but
We got them out of class.
yeah. So yeah, they loved us. They loved us.
All right.
For me, it was Phoenix.
Okay.
And the artist came down from Phoenix here, and we saw him perform, and we told him we were coming to Phoenix. He hosts an open mic there, and it's like the longest running open mic. And if you've ever like done open mic, it's hard to see like it being consistent. And so when we came, it was actually his 8th year anniversary. It's called Home-Based Poetry. And so once we got off the stage, it was like a crowd of 300 people at an open mic.
Wasn't he nervous? Like, wait, what's
It was, I was
Love
nervous,
Oh my
but
gosh.
I always get nervous before I perform, but like try to transform that energy into positive energy. But once we got off the stage, they bombarded us and they asked for our autograph, and
Oh,
I
wow.
was like, and I was forging his signature. And this one man was like, he gave us $50 for a CD, and I was like, I don't have any change. He was like, I didn't ask you for no change. And
I took that
started
free money any
crying.
day. I mean,
Right. But just not even the fact they want our autographs and anything like that. It was genuine love, and they were like, where can we find you? We want to stalk you. We're coming to Nashville. Like, they were seriously like, really, it was like our home, a second home to us.
All right, and newly made. What about you?
I kind of want to say a different place.
I was going to say, you can't say the same one.
Really? Okay, so I'll have to say Detroit. We went to Detroit on 2 occasions, both for which was for the Motown Mike series.
You was able to actually like see Motown, the building, and
Yeah.
I'm
She
so
took
jealous.
a tour of the museum
gosh,
and got some
yeah.
history behind that, and like just there was a lot of things like we didn't know. But for me, actually, I really think Detroit was the favorite for mine.
What made that like solid to you?
For me, it's like getting introduced to the culture, the artistic community there. Like we got to meet some of the dope poets, the dope artists in that area. We got to see some of the structures, some of the dabbles.
Oh, yeah.
African bead, and like he has these sculptures of art like all outside on like next to the freeway. You can see from the freeway, and it's just like cars, and like from afar it looks like junk, like a junkyard. But when you get up close, you can really see like some of the work that's been done. So just like being exposed to all that and knowing that that exists in other places, that was real. It was a beautiful thing for me. But then just being a part of that. And of course, getting to compete, we try to perform wherever we go, so that's always a plus.
Awesome. Now, all of y'all have works that speak towards the Black community, speaks towards racial issues, the social issues. Does it get difficult talking about that are more emotional for y'all when it comes to talking about things that go on in society, such as Karima, yours, Welcome to America? How did that change you in a way, and how did that impact you?
I remember like J. Cole's album came out, and he was like, fool me one time, something.
Fool me one time, shame on you.
Shout out to J. Cole.
I just quoted that. And so when he was like, load the chopper that it ran on you, I was like, all right, let the bullets rain. I was like, hollow tips. I was like, hey, are hollow tips wasn't bullets? And so when I wrote it, I listened to a couple different things. I performed it one time, and I started crying. And I don't know why I started crying, because I've never cried before, but I was like, I'm so tired of telling you guys this. Like, I wrote that poem in 2015, and it's still very relevant today.
Yeah.
So it's very hard when you want to tell people stuff, but they don't want to hear it, or they're like snapping, but they go back to their regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, because you had images of civil rights issues and things like that on it, and I think it was not only in the lyrics in itself, but the visual elements behind it truly spoke about what it was, what she was getting into. I feel. We're gonna have more questions for y'all when we come back on Deep Soul with Writer's Block.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
El que San Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When St. Jude told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Idle hands. They say they're the devil's workshop. But give idle hands a place to go, a purpose, and they're capable of amazing things.
Welcome back. I have with me Writer's Block. I just asked a question to Karima, but I want both of y'all to answer as well. It gets emotional when it comes to y'all's poetry, talking about social issues, racial issues, even relationships with Boom. Let's go to Boom. The gun to the chest. Yeah, what's up with that?
That's kind of how it feels when you get your heart broken.
Yeah.
So the thing about Boom was, I just really wanted like really good visuals with it, and I wanted to be like really dramatic, and because I'm dramatic, and I just wanted to like just get my point across. And like when you watch this video, I want you to feel it, and I want you to get all the visuals, and like it's not really meant. The audio for that, it's not really meant for you just to listen to. It's meant for you to listen to and watch, because it's just like a whole collective of feeling.
Yeah, because even the scene where it's like you in a chair and your arms are wrapped or bounded, and that gun, it's like that right there. I feel like it's how every relationship is at the ending and beginning, depending on who you're with. It can get that way, and it can get that stressful on you as well. So I really like the visual elements in that, and I pointed that out there, but has that been the poem for you that's impacted you the most?
No.
Okay, just want to make sure. Which has?
Well, Boom was my tester poem, just to see, who really messed with me.
Yeah.
So, but the poem that has impacted me the most is probably my domestic violence poem, and it's coming out in theaters no, not really theaters. But it's basically about like a hardship in my life that I dealt with, and basically I watched my mom get abused, and it's like I performed this at a women's prison, and it was kind of weird because it was like the part where I stood up for myself, they was clapping a little bit too hard. I was like, oh my God, please don't start right.
Because that had to have an emotional element behind it.
Yeah, and I didn't want to share it with writer's block at all, and they was like, no, you need to get this poem out. This has to be said. And I'm like, I don't want to do it.
It's your story. It's needed. And
it was just because it was just such a vulnerable spot for me because I never really got to talk about it. So I'm like, now I get to like I had to ask my mom for permission before I could actually share it. And she was like, it's your story. Why are you asking me? And I was like, you're right. Okay, I'll just tell your whole life.
All right, what about you, Newly Made?
Okay, so the one that I'm working on is still like in development, so I can't say too much without giving it away.
Okay.
But it's from a different position. So I told you I had a background in theater, and some people look at acting as pretending, but it's really just taking real emotions, real experiences, and putting them through the words. So I find myself in that same predicament here, where I'm telling a story. Oftentimes we tell stories, our stories, or other people's stories. So definitely being vulnerable, getting in the emotional state of someone who has went through this. That's all I can really say on it. Without giving it away.
To be continued, I take that. Like you said, going off what you said, being an emotional state and getting into it, how do y'all prep for some of your poetry when it comes to those hard ones? Like how do you get yourself in that mindset and say, all right, dust off everything, let's do this?
Oh, for me, Newly had to really talk to me about doing it because he was like, you don't perform this the same way every time. Because sometimes, I'd be like emotionally distant, like I'm just going to say this poem and get it over with. And then he was like, no, you need to put all the emotion in there. So then, like before I say the poem, I have to literally sit there and I almost make myself cry. Like I'm at the brink of crying and I relive it. And I'm like, okay, now I'm about to get up there and I'm about to make them cry. Like you're going to cry with me on the stage. So that's how I prepare.
Okay, and what about you?
I feel like I'm always in a revolutionary mindset.
Okay. All right, movement, let's do it.
Get this free.
I'm always like, let's go. But the ones where I have to be softer, I try to kind of unwind and not be so tense and loosen up and kind of really connect to it so that people believe it.
All right, and Newly, what about you?
When you do it often, it's real easy to slip into the emotion of the thing. So definitely it's always trying to remind myself that there's one, no matter who's out there, someone who needs to hear this. And then two, that it's not about you yourself. It's about the message and who needs to hear it. So I always try to keep in mind that there's someone out there who needs this, and it's not about me, how I feel, but how it can help somebody.
And that's the message for the entire group, right? The group as a whole, the Writer's Block, the mission is to get it out there because you never know who needs it. So what do you do when you deal with disagreements? Do you ever have that problem from audience members?
Oh, we fight.
Oh, okay.
No.
3 o'clock outside, got you. All right. Right. How do y'all deal with disagreements from people when it comes to what you speak on? Have you ever had that situation?
I don't feel like we have.
Oh,
Depending on the audience, I feel like Newly's really skilled in this audience, you should do this piece. Karima, maybe you shouldn't do Welcome to America with these 5-year-old little children.
No,
you
I
probably don't want to. Yeah.
No. It's a lie. It's all a lie. Gosh, just not do that.
Yeah. Newly's really good at this is the audience. Twigs, you should do Summertime. They like emotion. They feed off that. And 9 times out of 10, he's right.
But it's that one time.
Well, that we remember. Newly, how do you know what's good for each audience?
Experience, just getting out there. I went to a lot of open mics starting out. A lot of it was just being hungry in the sense of this is something I want to pursue, so I want to see how it's done. A lot of it was trial and error. So it's just taking the information that we get and passing it along, because a lot of times that disconnect comes from we obtain information, but we don't make sure is passed along.
Okay, all right. So with that being said, I want to ask you, how long have y'all been the group, each and every one of you? Who wants to start first? Well, he's the founder, so by the box, so it's not him, it's one of y'all two who wants to start first.
Okay, so I guess about 3 years.
Okay.
I'd say 2.
Yeah.
All right, and y'all we're doing this outside of, because y'all graduated, so what do you hope to excel after college when it comes to this group? What is the new goal for y'all? I mean, for you're doing it right now. So what about y'all? You're still in school, correct?
I'm out of school.
Okay, then Twigs, how about you?
I'm just taking my time. My own pace.
Well, where is the next step for the group in itself?
World domination.
Block
I
International.
see it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, because I know that y'all have already taken this on the road, as we discussed, Miami, Detroit, Memphis, everywhere else. So I'm like, y'all already doing it all right now.
We want to do a tour though,
An official tour.
An official tour. All that was like, hey, this is coming up. We actually want to like contact venues and say, hey, we're Writer's Block. This is what we're about. We want to come. We want to be able to set out an official date list. Like, hey, catch us here, catch us there.
I like that. So when are y'all going to have that happening? When is that coming up? Because that'd be awesome.
Next semester.
Next semester.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are we speaking semesters or are we speaking? Oh.
Well, next year. Okay, next year, right. And y'all's symbol is it's a hexagon with the spits.
Yeah, it's
right?
like
Spit
stop
sign,
and
yeah.
spit.
Stop.
Look at us.
Man.
You didn't even know.
Because when God.
I was like, what's the significance of a hexagon? Now.
All right, so it's actually our logo,
Yeah.
but it doubles as an acronym, and it's crazy because like you get all kind of reassurance from different people, or there's different signs out there that let you know you're on the right path. But this was actually given to us. They said, hey, I like it. It's nice, but you should make it an acronym. So like we thought about it, and then the acronym we came out with was speaking your P in truth.
Okay.
Each person has their own P, which is unique to them. So we'll ask, what's your P? My P is purpose. Her P
Passion.
is
Perspective.
and it's kind of like the center truth in what we speak on.
All right. Well, we'll see that center truth when we come back on Deep Soul.
I never imagined this would be your first home.
I feel powerless. I can't stop asking, why us?
I just want to hug and kiss you and never let go.
This is the hardest thing we've ever faced. I know it's even harder on you.
You are my little fighter. We're here with you.
I believe in you. Just 4 simple words. But to a child in need, they mean the world. When you support a child through Save the Children, you're saying, I believe in you. Visit sponsor.savethechildren.org/believe today.
We cure 80% of children with cancer. If you think about that, I mean, go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. There's one thing we're focused on here at St. Jude, and that's beating this thing.
To pose, now sure. She makes the sun seem, makes me deep in the North Sea.
This piece is called I Am. I am the fight between two cities. Everyone always asks me, who does it better? One city's always busy and the other's all about that cheddar. I am two halves of a whole. Everyone always hates me because I can't choose. Twigs, you have to choose. Well, I have some news. I am two kingdoms wrapped up in one single. Everyone tries to figure out my lingo because I say soda and then I say pop, and let's just face it, I'm everything your girl's not. They say Twigs, you be killing them like I'm John Wayne Gacy or Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm going to be looking at my future checks like pass me my commas. Now I can get Kanye arrogance or Eric Benet smooth. Which side of me you want, I'm letting you choose. You can't define me by my area code. Because I'm that 414 meets that 773. Grandma watching me across the street, hoping that no one iced me. All I wanted was an icy. I'm summertime in Chicago and winter in Milwaukee. I'm flying cold. No wonder they can't stop me. I rep two cities like it's my favorite hobby. Funny how my flow changed so quick they can't copy. They be lurking on my IG like write it and copy. I am two cities wrapped up in one. I'm like that kid who parents got divorced and they begging me to choose one, but I never turn my back on where I begun or where I picked up. I'm that twang in a tank. I'm that juke. I'm that bop. I'm those hot crunchy curls. I'm that old lady dancing on a bus stop. I'm that kid that got kicked out of Mayfair for not having a parent there. You ask me where I'm from and no, I can't choose. I'm a product of greatness. Not everyone understands. They all get confused. I mean, you have two against one. How can you lose? So when you ask me where I'm from, I say this proudly. I am Shiwaukee.
I'm from construction with Lego sets. Building with connects, rainy days, and video games. I'm from lunchtop table trades. Going for the chocolate milk exchange, but settling when the bell rang because that meant recess was right after. Yeah, I'm from Laughter. On cereal morning Saturdays where cartoons played with my imagination, you see Nickelodeon was the only station, and on PlayStation, well, I was a Fresh Prince. Because that's where I spend most of my days, you know, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, never really noticing the junkies shooting up outside of my school, but I was a peculiar guy who turned out to be good at writing down what was seen in my neck of the woods. I'm from a city, a Midwest city, the best city in the middle of the map, and I'm proud of the fact. See, you can catch those letters right in the middle of the hat, royally fitted, monarch at, home of the Negro Leagues and all that jazz. See, Kansas City, I'm from that. And like a packet's on my back, see, I go back, then back and forth, I scream it loud, I lose my voice. And I put on at any chance, because for me, it's not a choice. I am newly made.
I am the American sniper. Unadulterated truth in my rifle. Put a target on your head, shoot you dead with my eyes closed. I am the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the ending. I am, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. I never seen Papa's hat because he was always gone. I'm the one who's always underestimated, but very much anticipated. The ugly duckling who turned into a swan, trying to find her way in his vicious ponds. I am a queen and you are all my pawns. I am so over Sunday morning congregation, spiritual masturbation. My soul is awaiting to be awakened. I am a beauty, ready to unleash this beast, your favorite delicacy. I handle these words so delicately. If you cut me open, I would probably bleed ink. My skin is made of braille. You could feel what I think. I'm so spaghetti. On Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because that's all my mama used to make. I'm not your average black girl. You could tell from the lack of booty. I sit high on my throne. Nothing less than a king can pursue me. I'm so Nashville, Tennessee. Not country music, but Jefferson before the intersection turning blacks to a different direction. I am the exception to the rule because I tend to have a lot of people fooled. I'm a little bit of this and a whole lot of that, but really I'm just a dreamer. You can't put me in a box or define me by titles because I am me, Karima, and we are Writer's Block.
Awesome, awesome. Thank y'all so much for performing. What is next for y'all? What's the new project coming out?
December 31st, Kwanzaa Fest.
And location is still
To be
pending.
announced.
Awesome. All right, well, thank y'all again. This was Writer's Block, and as I always say, stay tuned and keep it soulful.